Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar as we take an in-depth look at the SecurOS Soffit, the AI-powered pedestrian detection and dynamic LED illumination system from ISS. I'm Joel Griffin, Director of Marketing for North America at ISS, and I will be your moderator for today's program. Improving the safety of pedestrians and other vulnerable road users has always been a paramount concern for cities and highway authorities. Everyone is familiar by now with self-driving cars, smart traffic lights, and other advanced technologies that are being implemented on our roadways today. But yet, the safety of pedestrians seems to have been left behind, and the figures are quite alarming, actually. According to a recent report from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, vehicle crashes involving pedestrians have increased by more than 80% since 2009, but that's not all. These pedestrian-involved accidents now account for nearly 1/5 of all crash fatalities. In today's program, we will take a look at some of the common challenges associated with pedestrian safety, the traditional measures used to address them and their pitfalls, as well as how the Soffit can help solve these challenges. All right. So today's agenda. Today's webinar will be broken down into several parts. Following a quick introduction of today's speaker, we will briefly discuss who ISS is as a company and our footprint in the ITS space. That will then be followed by an overview of what the Soffit is, how it works, and what makes it different as a pedestrian safety solution. Finally, the last 10 to 15 minutes of today's program will be reserved for Q&A with you, our audience. Please submit a question at any time using the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. We will answer as many questions as possible during this time verbally. At the conclusion of today's program, we will randomly select an attendee who stayed on for the duration to receive a $50 Amazon gift card. Your speaker for today's program is Joe Harvey, ITS Market Sector Leader at ISS. Prior to joining ISS, Joe worked in various leadership positions at traffic and parking safety solutions provider TAPCO for more than a decade. During his time with the company, Joe led market development efforts for its wrong way alert system and also served as product manager for its DMS product line. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Joe. Joe, take it away.
Thank you, Joel, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As Joel stated, Joe Harvey with ISS. I am the ITS market sector leader here, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to an innovative product that's transforming pedestrian safety, the SecurOS Soffit. Joel, go ahead. So, one of the interesting bits, as I've been with ISS now for a little over a year, is the introduction of both our products, but also who we are as a company. Very early on in a lot of my conversations with customers, the conversation at the very end or wrapping up was, wow, I had no idea who you guys were. You do so much. I hadn't heard about you. And that's really because of just the ad hoc nature of ISS's background, but also how ITS was viewed in the US and from what ISS had provided. As a video intelligence company that's based in neural network and AI, those conversations were slow builds, where globally we've had a much quicker acceptance to who we are and what we can provide in the marketplace. ISS is a US-based company. Our headquarters is in New Jersey with our manufacturing city in Miramar, Florida. That is just north of Miami. As you can see here, as a global company, we do have 18 offices stationed throughout the globe with somewhere north of 450 plus employees. That number is constantly growing. I myself just added another business development rep here in the States that you may hear from after this call. But we are constantly growing. And as you can see also from the numbers, we are constantly reviewing who we are and trying to develop and continually advance in the video intelligence space with over 200 developers, engineers, individuals in R&D. ISS strives to continue and maintain its position as a leader in that space and provide products and solutions that continually push the boundaries or answer the questions that our customer base are asking of us, the Soffit being one of those developments several years ago. Joel, if you'll go to the next slide. ISS in its whole has well over 100,000 servers and over 3.5 million cameras. When you think about that scale, and when we say as a global company, just the sheer volume and numbers of deployments that we've put out there and have been able to just have the time, the answers, the questions asked of us, really has been able to transform us and continually be that reliable source of video intelligence in this space. The other side of the coin is how we continually represent ourselves and respond to our customers. Kind of a feather in our cap is our ability from a customer service standpoint to be able to respond, answer any questions. If there is something that's broke, fixed, or needs a question asked of it, our support team is there, again, with us being US based here in the States, to answer those questions and facilitate the outcomes that our customers expect of us. Joel, next slide. The other thought of ISS is an international thought leader. So talking about ISS and who we are in that video intelligence space is one thing, but to see from the number of periodicals, journals, just platforms that continually ask our leadership team for their input, their insight, what market trends they're seeing, and how they're answering questions that are being brought to us each and every day has really been, again, something that we have championed through the close to 30 years of existence our company has to date. Our CEO, our COO, our North American Managing Director are constantly fielding inquiries to be able to speak on panels about video intelligence, about AI, and how we are specifically answering questions, both in just relative video intelligence, but when we're talking about ITS now, how we're transforming some of our capabilities to really revolutionize the solutions we're providing to market. Joel, go ahead. So ISS and the ITS market, what is it that we do? Over the last year, we've really tried to organize some of the just wide array of solutions that ISS offers into a couple key or off-the-shelf products that resonate a little more in the ITS space. When you think about just the totality of what can be supplied into that space, it's really daunting. And you'll see some of our capabilities here, and you'll kind of understand what gets asked of us. But as you see here, we've broken them down into kind of 5 key areas. So signalized intersection detection. If you follow along our socials, you have seen we launched IntelliSection about 4 or 5 months ago. Let it off at ITE America, ITS America, but this is our video intelligence platform in the intersection detection space. Automated incident detection, or AID, our global leading LPR solution, analytics as a service, and then what we're here to talk about today, pedestrian safety and our Soffit. The infographic here shows all of the spaces that these may work in and where your mind can kind of wander to where we've provided solutions, but we are truly a total ITS company. When you're talking about highway, freeway, arterial, urban, rural, all of those instances where traveling motorists are at, but also your light rail, train, airports, cargo, port authority, all of those areas have instances or have questions about how video intelligence can help solve problems, and we are in all of those spaces today. Joel, go ahead. So, pedestrian safety and the Soffit solution. What is the problem that we are facing today? As Joel made mention, my background at my former company, I had many years of working with pedestrian safety issues, solutions, and trying to solve really what we have seen over the last several years in the study Joel made mention to, an increased issue with pedestrian safety and incidents that are occurring out on the roadway. When you think about the traveling public and any of our mobility users, Here at ISS, we believe one of the biggest issues is poor visibility. Obviously, the Soffit solving that solution with a dynamic illuminator, but also when you take a look or think about some of the other areas where pedestrians are facing head-on vehicles or instances where they may be at harm's way, your right turn on red where a driver isn't identifying a pedestrian where they're turning. Your distracted drivers, the increase of issues with cell phones and just the general issue we're having out on our roadways with distracted driving. Vehicle speeds. A lot of crossings, both at signalized intersection and mid-block, are in areas where speeds are in excess of 40 and 45 miles an hour. When you think about some of the liberties taken on those speeds, you can see people easily at 50 to 55 miles an hour on those crossings. That is a giant risk to a pedestrian when facing a car at those speeds. Insufficient crossing time and just the general distance of our roadways. As we try to get more and more vehicles through our arterials and through some of our urban areas, those roadways continue to widen, and getting pedestrians from one side to the other continues to be a challenge. Joel, if you'll go ahead here. This next slide is going to show you the data that Joel made reference to, and I did as well. Early on in the 2000s, as we really started to see the development of some of the traditional safety measures, you saw the pedestrian safety or the pedestrian fatality number and total percentage either decrease or stay relatively flat. It's now over the last 10-ish years that we've actually seen an increase in the number of fatalities and the percentage of total fatalities, both of those going directly against Vision Zero plans and a lot of the agendas that cities and agencies put out and try to combat. When you see the statistics in the lower right-hand corner, that is speaking to the issues that they're seeing during nighttime or dusk time hours. That number of 76% of pedestrians being unfortunately killed was during a dark or nighttime event. 73% of those fatalities occurred at non-intersection locations. So these are going to be areas where you have either mid-block crossing or areas underserved by general crossing measures and pedestrians out in the roadway at night not being seen. Joel, go ahead. The traditional safety measures that I have come accustomed to and kind of the market have really been your static signage, the enhancement of any of that signage with LEDs. So your RFBs, your beacons, your LED surround signs, also hawk or signalized intersections, both at mid-block or our true signalized intersection, or speed alteration. So trying to lower speeds via either variable speed limit signs or just during different times of the day, trying to lower some of the top end speed when pedestrians are going to be out and about. Now, going back to the previous statistic, the introduction of these LED enhancements, the hawk systems, had an effect in either stabilizing or lowering the incident amount. But over the years, with just the number of these devices out on the roadway and also with the combination of distracted driving, there's obviously been either a white noise effect to their effectiveness and or just complete visibility to them with a distracted driver. That is where here at ISS, and Joel, if you go to the next slide, developed and are here to talk about the Soffit solution. So I'm going to let this video play. It's about 2 minutes in length here. It's going to give you a full introduction to our Soffit system, but the device itself, when you're watching this video, I want you to take a look at how it's interacting with pedestrians in the road space, how it's able to actually track, identify people heading in different directions, platooning effect, all of these things that we've kind of identified as issues, that pedestrian safety factor, but what the Soffit is truly doing out in the road space, both just as an illumination device, but the dynamic illumination and the pedestrian safety it actually offers. So Joel, if you'll go ahead.
ISS presents SecurOS Soffit, the first proactive lighting system designed to escort pedestrians using dynamic illumination to prevent crashes at road crossings. The Soffit IP camera monitors the crossing areas and transmits a video stream to the ISS Video Analytics Controller. The ISS Video Analytics Controller detects people who enter the area, tracking the trajectory of their movement along the pedestrian crossing, which then manages the SecurOS Soffit illumination system. The lighting system is designed that each of its 8 LED modules illuminate a separate area of the pedestrian crossing when people are on it. When the SecurOS Soffit detects a person near a pedestrian crossing, the dynamic illumination mode is activated. The areas where the person is located are illuminated by the corresponding LED modules. A wide light beam will follow the pedestrian's movement from their appearance into the space until they exit the crossing. Meanwhile, video analytics will detect and adapt to all possible changes of the direction and movement speed. Our video analytics detectors based on neural networks provide the highest level of lighting accuracy. SecurOS Soffit is an effective solution to ensure the pedestrian safety at any road crossing. The Soffit can also act as a general lighting fixture, illuminating the area around it for visibility. The illumination switches on automatically when outside lighting is low. The static light during standby mode enhances the lighting safety for pedestrians, switching from general lighting to crosswalk escort lighting when the pedestrian enters the crosswalk. Once they have exited the crosswalk, the system switches back to general lighting. The brightness of the LED modules is adjusted according to the lighting condition of the pedestrian crossing. In well-lit areas, an additional pulsating illumination mode can be enabled to make a person even more visible. In the light of street lamps, advertising displays, and headlights of other vehicles, the pulsating light ensures pedestrian visibility. The enclosure of the SecurOS Soffit IP camera and the white light LED illuminator is dustproof and waterproof and can be rapidly deployed with minimal infrastructure modifications. The SecurOS Soffit solves an important public safety challenge, increasing pedestrian safety, and can be quickly installed in any environment. For additional information, please contact ISS today.
So in that video, you saw the dynamic nature of the soffit light actually being activated during a pedestrian's crossing through the intersection or mid-block. Basically, during dusk or nighttime hours, the light is going to turn on and provide a overhead lighting notification of that crossing. That is both for just everyday standard of identification from a driver, but also pedestrians being able to understand where crossings are during nighttime hours. As you can see here, the 2/3 modes that the device goes through from standby, active, and back to standby really provides the safety factor for the pedestrian when they're actually crossing. The device itself, and I'll go into this in a little bit further detail here in a moment, but can be integrated into a lot of those traditional measures that are already out in the roadway, the RFB systems, the signs, the in-road lighting, and be able to act as an addition to or be a standby or standalone solution itself. Joel, if you'll go to the next slide. The device itself right now is a 110 or AC solution only. If you just think about the general power draw that is needed for overhead lighting through an entire nighttime, especially now here in the north, I'm in Wisconsin, as we get into the winter months here and daylight is severely reduced. The amount of time that the device is on, it really demands AC power in order to really power it and keep it up and active during the entire night. We are working on version 2.0, 3.0 with that R&D team. And again, our constant want to evolve and advance. We are trying to figure out how to solar power this in a manner that goes along with some of the traditional measures where you've seen small solar panels, small battery to be able to power this. But for the time being, really is going to be an AC solution. The device does get broken down into the 3 components you see here, the white light LED illuminator, the IP camera, and the analytic controller. From the video, you saw that the light and the camera are mounted at the top end. We generally recommend a 20-foot installation. I know a lot of the more traditional 4.5-inch or signal poles that are out at mid-block crossings, generally around that 15-foot height. We can have a conversation and kind of get into further detail of what kind of coverage and what you'll see from the device itself. It does still work and provide the illumination that is needed. 20-foot is just what we've seen as the best installation of the device itself. It is able to cover 3 to 4 lanes of traffic. We have had a couple installations at a 5-lane length, which gets a little compacted from both the standpoint of the area that we are covering, but also at the far ends of just the illumination and the total coverage that we get. The device has the capability when we set it up, if you do put one on either side, to function as a single unit and have the coverage basically having a sweeping effect and pass off from that middle area, but generally a 3 to 4 lane application at best. The metal enclosure is anti-vandal. It is a number 2 locked cabinet that houses our nuke device or edge device inside of there. So you're somewhere around 14 days of data retention just based on our kind of out-of-the-box configuration. You can get close to 30 days of data configuration on that or retention, or have the ability to connect via 5G and be able to, or LTE, be able to pull that data specifically from it and send that into dashboard or whatever other ATMS or software we would need to connect to. So as a standalone device, it is the 3 pieces, interconnected, a little bit more into that, but if any details are wanted, you can follow up with us and we can provide that to you. Joel, go ahead. The next slide here is going to be another video. This one is really speaking to the partnership that ISS has been working with, and in this case specifically T-Mobile. This was a proof of concept that we got asked to do in conjunction with a local agency out in the Seattle area in order to do that integration into your traditional measures. So you're going to see our Soffit actually activating the RRFB system. Additionally, what we provided here was interconnectivity to AI's Glance, which is a connected vehicle system that is able to push out Tim's messaging to a geolocated area if a vehicle has a OBU or connected side. We also then connected through ISS's mobile app the same proof of concept that was able to accept a message of an active crosswalk while our system was still running the RFB and the Soffit solution. So it doesn't get into that detail in the video, but you are going to see really what the power of our solution and with the partnerships we have at a global scale. When a company like T-Mobile asked us to come in and do this and us be able to prove something out like this was kind of really a championing moment for our group here. So Joel, if you'll go ahead and let this video run.
We're a video analytics company that is trying to take AI solution-based video management software and bring it into the physical environment. We are taking a standard device in the field, which is an RRFB, a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, and tying in our Soffit unit. It is a lighting solution to be able to actually identify in the crosswalk a pedestrian traveling and being able to use our analytics to track them and help identify that vulnerable road user. The 5G capabilities instantly have a dramatic effect. We are able to actually notify through our software platform to an agency so they can actually act on that event. A lot of the solutions take eyesight away from the actual pedestrian. What we're doing is trying to bring that focus specifically into that area and illuminating that vulnerable road user. We are able to offer solutions real time as the event is occurring in the roadway and help a pedestrian traveling in the crosswalk.
And apologies that one had to be more of my voice talking at you, but that was something I got invited out to and helped with our partnership there. But as you can see, being able to build upon what is a standard within kind of the MUTCD, the FHWA, what our roadways are accustomed to seeing as an innovative and leading edge product gets brought out, helps kind of merge those two applications and allows a little bit ease of mind if that is what is needed, at least during the early stages of implementation in your agency or wherever that may go. Joel, if you'll skip forward here. The last slide I have for you today is kind of the parallel path of our solution. As a standalone safety device, it works wonders being able to identify a pedestrian and be able to help them traverse the crosswalk. Hopefully the videos and this conversation has shown you that. But the other side of ISS, and really where a lot of the build out of the 30 years of business that ISS has conducted has been our data, our integration, and our platform's ability to empower the end user. Being able to grab trends or data from the specific device itself, where, again, traditional measures, you don't know if there's 1, 2, 10 individuals at a given time that may have pushed that push button and are actually crossing at the signal or at a mid-block. You also don't understand potentially what direction they are traveling, how long it took them to travel throughout that intersection. If there was jaywalking and they entered at a certain location, what environmental factors maybe then could be reviewed to see how you could get people to adhere much better to the crossing itself. All of those insights are provided and a part of the data that can be pulled from the Soffit solution itself. That is provided in raw data form into our dashboarding and or those third-party integrations via REST APIs that can sit on agencies' ATMS softwares or any other third-party software solution you may have. With the background we have in security, we kind of say this blanketly, a integration into almost every software solution that is not a completely closed black box software. So we are confident that we'd be able to provide that data into your system. Then additionally, system health, being able to know that the system is up, running, and actually acting in the manner that you have set it out there to. A lot of the other solutions aren't as smart or connected in that way, but all of this data is something that is provided, given to agencies so they can better understand the issues that are potentially happening out there and being able to review other areas throughout the corridor, throughout the entire agency itself to see where different solutions may need to be brought out or where the Soffit may else be used to combat some of these problems. So that is what I have for you today. I'll pass this back to Joel. I do appreciate your time and allowing me to introduce our Soffit solution, our pedestrian safety device, and we'll be here for any questions.
All right, thank you, Joe. We have reached the time, as you pointed out, in today's program for Q&A. Again, you can submit a question using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And we've had a couple of questions roll in throughout the course of the presentation. Joe, this first question I'll direct your way is, I think you touched on some of the, basically the minimum height. I think you said it was 20 feet, but what are some of the other mounting requirements, for the Soffit? How high does it have to be? And you said 20 feet, is there any variation in there? Things like that.
Yeah, so 20 foot is kind of that standard that we put out there, but would review any of the cases that you may have, again, 15, even all the way down to 13. Again, thinking about some of the traditional pole sizes that are out on the roadway. Because of the weight of the unit, we generally are saying 4.5-inch OD, telephone pole, signal pole, different things like that in order to mount that on. But it is just a banded device. So it's a universal mount that provides just banding straps in order to mount both the enclosure and then also the pole that you mount the camera and the LED illuminator on. You will, again, as stated with the AC requirement, need to have electrical hookup to that. That is landed directly internal to that enclosure. But outside of that, any of the interconnectivity to any of the traditional measures, your RFB, your Hawk system, anything like that, a lot of that is just through relays or connections in ours or the third-party manufacturers. So we can walk you through any of those. But really mounting is like any of your other traditional devices, two-man team with a bucket truck or ladder to be able to put it up, band it on, and get up and running pretty quickly.
Joe, also, are there any stats or statistics available on how the soffit impacts stopping distance for a driver and things along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the charts in the data that I had pulled from in the presentation was a recent study just of the RFBs, the lights, traditional overhead lighting to be able to identify a pedestrian. But here at ISS, we also authored a independent study for our solution that basically showed the stopping distance or reaction time of drivers, basically simulating different crossings. So nighttime without lighting, with active overhead lighting, with the dynamic illumination. It is a case study that is written up. I want to say it's 4 or 5 pages. It's not too heavy of a read, but can really dive into both the testing that was done and the statistical outcome that shows the dynamic illumination really providing that benefit. And really what we're looking for is the identification of a pedestrian as soon as possible and the driver's then reaction time to either slow or stop a vehicle. So we do have that available. I believe that is out on our website as a download, but also can be something we can send out to any participant at the conclusion of this webinar here.
And lastly, Joe, question here, what do you do from the perspective of drivers to kind of limit the impact for distraction and things like that from the lighting array?
So the device is angularly pointed down, and during installation, we ensure that the LEDs themselves are directly pointed into the crosswalk. The device doesn't actually have any pneumatic movement. All of it is fixed hardware, and it is just the brains behind the system that is basically firing the individual LEDs that kind of gives it that cascading or dynamic illumination. So the device itself, with addition of a shield to be able to block any of the outspray of additional lighting or light pollution, is provided and kind of ensures that all of that lighting is directed specifically down. Also, with the 20-foot height of the device, it does kind of ensure that all of that light is so far above the pedestrians, any of the mobility traffic, so bikes, wheelchairs, anything like that, that it is not impacting their visibility as well. So all those things are kind of addressed with the physical hardware aspect of the solution itself.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And as we get ready to close here, I want to thank everyone who attended today's program, as well as Joe for sharing his insights. Just to conclude with our drawing here for the $50 Amazon gift card. The winner of that is Leslie Tracy, and we'll be following up with you at the conclusion of today's program to get that out to you. But again, I want to thank everyone for attending. If you want to learn more about ISS or any of our ITS solutions, including the Soffit, you can visit issivs.com. You can also contact Joe directly if you want more direct information on any of our ITS products, and you can reach him at joe.harvey@issivs.com. Thank you, and we'll see you on our next webinar.